Hello everybody, thanks for dropping by and checking out my channel. Today we're going to open another beautiful pen from BENU. I haven't actually opened this yet. I like to wait and open it with you guys. So this is one of their new pens from their Haute Collection. And I must admit it was pretty hard choosing which one to get from this collection because all of the pens are really beautiful. There's some really sort of understated ones. There's some ones with a lot of glitter. I kind of went with a blend of both. So this box is a little hard to get open. So I actually went with this one, which is called the Flair. Oh wow. Oh wow, it's even more pretty than I thought. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this really surprised me. I thought it was just a sort of a pink shimmer, but you can definitely see, look at that sort of peacock tealish green there that's in like iridescence within that shimmer. Oh my gosh, it's really pretty and really unusual. Oh, can you see it there? Yeah, you can really see it there on the cap there, and it works so beautifully with this gold trim. I love it. And then we have BENU, quite a small stamped BENU there, which is really lovely and understated. But this band is really pretty, and the shape of it's really unusual. It's actually sort of a square. They have like a little circle plug on the top there for the cap, but the body of the pen and the cap of the pen has this sort of square faceting with little sort of facets on the side here, so little diagonal flat surfaces here, just so it's not a harsh square, so it's sort of like a rounded square. And oh gosh, it's so beautiful. And the resin is so interesting on the body. Let's have a look at the section. Oh yeah, you can totally see the iridescence on the section there. So it has this fine shimmer in there, maybe like a silver shimmer. And then as you go down, the pen starts to get a little more swirly with the resin, where it's swirling in with some of this beautiful transparent pink resin. They're kind of blending together, and you can totally see some of that sort of bluish green teal. Oh wow, look there as well. Kind of sort of chatoyant looking there. And then we have these big flakes of gold glitter, and then they sort of get bigger as you go down here into this gorgeous transparent resin down here that's sort of toned a rosy pink to go with the milky pink up here. Gosh, it's really quite lovely. So let's open it up. Quite a few turns to open it up actually, but you're not doing that every day, so that's okay. It has a Schmidt converter in here, which is super handy. And then the nib that I got is another one of their new Jowo nibs, and this is the Elastic Fine. I just thought I would try it out and sort of compare it to the Schmidt Fine. The Schmidt Fine is an amazing nib. It's my favorite nib with them. They run very wet, they're smooth, but I just wanted to try this one out just for funsies. And also because it has a Jowo housing, I can switch and swap with my other Jowo nibs. I think this actually may be one of my favorite designs so far. It is just so soft and ethereal, and I just love that sort of transition from the pinky shimmer to that beautiful teal chatoyance in there. And I just love how they've mixed these resins together, and how it's, you know, even the size of these gold flakes, there's some thought to that to go into this transition. I love the transparent pink at the bottom. It's this beautiful soft baby pink, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So let me grab a couple of the other BENUs that I have just for a size comparison, and then we'll look for the perfect color to ink this up with. Alright, so I just got a couple of my other BENUs out. Actually, these are probably three of my favorite ones right now, which is fun. And you can see the size comparison here. So we have the BENU Tessera here, which seems to be the shortest capped. Then we have our new BENU Haute, which is kind of the mid-length. And then we have the longest one here, which is the BENU Euphoria. So this is capped. Let's uncap them and see what the length is like with that. So this is the pen's uncapped, and I just sort of lined it up on the bottom here so we can see the length comparison. And they do equate to the same ratios. So we have our smallest with the Tessera, the middle is the Haute, and the Euphoria at the top here. The sections are all exactly the same width and length, it seems, if I just push these to be the same here on the nibs. Same nib sizes, same section sizes, So there's your size comparison. So I'm just going to grab a couple of other familiar pens just so you can see the comparison for that size as well. Okay, so here we have a couple of sort of well-known pens. We have the Esterbrook Esty at the top here, and we have the TWSBI Eco at the bottom. These two are actually very, very similar in length. The Eco has a smaller nib, so you're going to be a little bit closer to the paper than you would with this size 6. I believe this is maybe a size 5 or 5.5. The Esterbrook is a little shorter. The grip section is a little bit bigger, as I've probably shown before in my other BENU review videos. Again, if you love the Esty, the BENU is just a little bit smaller in circumference there. And then the nib sizes are both size 6. Actually, you can swap these nibs, so that's kind of cool. So the next fun thing to do is to go and ink this up. So I'm going to go grab some colors that I think might go really well with this, and we will choose a color and ink it up and try it out. All right, so I went through my collection of inks, and I just want to say, by the way, I don't own bottles of all of the inks that I show here. I am a big fan of collecting samples, so a lot of the time I just have a little sample of this ink. I have a lot of bottles of Ferris Wheel Press inks because I'm a Ferris Wheel Press ambassador, but I just wanted to let you know that I don't have hundreds of bottles of inks. Okay, anyway, so upon choosing colors, I was really surprised actually, because when I first unboxed this, I was thinking it's mostly a sort of powdery, soft pink, but it actually does lean a little bit more into the peachy color when you put it next to swatches. This transparent part at the bottom, although on camera it looks very pink, when you're holding it, like on a certain angle, see how orange that looks? So from my angle when I'm writing or holding it, I think it's going to primarily be that sort of orangey color because of the combination of the gold flakes and the pink. So yeah, let's have a look at the colors that I thought would work. Okay, so first up we have Diamine Jug of Sangria. So this is quite a powdery, soft, subdued, rosy pink, and I think it goes quite well with the hue of the pink resin in here, so I think that would be quite lovely. Then we have a little bit more into the peachy tones, which goes really lovely as well, which is Tarnisci Opera Rose. Next up we have Ferris Wheel Press's Wonderland in Coral, which has this beautiful sort of pinkish shimmer, and the base color is quite orange, so I think it goes really, really well with this. Then we have a pinkier tone, which is Van Diemen's Kitten Paws, so I think that goes quite well with the pink body. And then we have a big jump to the gold, which is Pelican Golden Barrel. I'm not sure if this one would go so well. It goes well with the trim and the nib, but the flakes within the resin, they shift to kind of this rose gold when you're looking at it because it's right next to the pink and different angles as well. So I'm not sure that I'll go with that one. Then I kind of was trying to look at the chatoyance, or that sort of peacockish bluish green in there, and I thought it went really well with Ferris Wheel Press's Adventurine, and this also has sort of a rose gold shimmer, so that's a nod back to the pen, the pink of the pen as well. So I think that's quite lovely. It is quite a light ink, so that's just something to consider as well. Then along the same lines, I went with Troublemaker Petrichor, which I think is beautiful. It does have some duochrome in here, duo shading, and the color is sort of this pinkish color, which is really lovely. You don't tend to see a lot of it in the writing, but again, I think it goes really lovely with that tealish color. Then along the same lines, we have Colorverse Cat Eye Nebula, which is actually almost perfect, but again, this is a very light ink, so I don't tend to put them in my pens as much because I like to see what I'm writing, but oh my gosh, that is a brilliant match, isn't it? That's absolutely beautiful. I have to think about that one. And then something wild and crazy, I went with Warringall Robinson Crusoe. So this has some sort of hints of green and blue and sort of vibrant blue, and I just thought it was a really beautiful contrast with the pen, so I kind of liked that one as well. All right, so I'm going to choose one, fill it up, and we'll come back and give it a write. All right, so the ink I chose to go with was Van Diemen's Kitten Paws. and I really like this one. I haven't actually put it in a pen, so I am excited to see what this writes like. I didn't have a bunch of ink in the sample, so I ended up filling the pen via syringe, and then I just sort of dipped the nib as well. So hopefully it should have fed through to the feed by now. So let's give this a go. All right, so we have BENU Haute Collection. Oh wow, this is wonderful. This is so wet, and you can already see with this ink that it's shading like a champ. It is super duper smooth. I think it's even more smooth than the Schmidt Fine, and the model. So this is the Flair. And this is a Jowo number 6 in Elastic Fine. And this is just putting down so much ink. So it's not specifically a flex nib, even though it sort of has these little windows cut out of the sides, which sort of indicates some flexibility, but it definitely is really bouncy. So I'm not getting a ton of line variation per se like a flex nib would, but it is really bouncy to play with. There's so much ink going down. You can see with the shading that, you know, on the downstrokes it's dropping a ton of ink. Let's put down the ink and then we'll play around with some strokes. So that, and then this is the ink is Van Diemen. Kitten Paws. And you can just see how much ink is going down. Oh, this is so wonderful. I love this nib. So smooth. Okay, so let's just do some figure eights so you can see how it drops the ink. Yeah, so you can see on these downstrokes here, it's kind of much lighter at the top, and then it dumps a bunch of ink at the bottom because of that sort of slight flexibility or the elasticness of this nib. So let's just put down a swatch of this color, and then I'm going to grab one of my other pens to sort of compare the Schmidt Fine nib and the Jowo Elastic Fine. So I'm just going to put a swatch of this color down just because I like to. Okay, that's lovely. Okay, so I just went and grabbed one of my other BENU pens. This is my BENU Euphoria in Earl Grey Tea, and this one has a fine Schmidt nib on it. So I just wanted to have a go at it to see how it compares writing with the Jowo one. So this is the, ooh, has a lot more feedback. How do you smell Schmidt? S-C-H-M-I. So this is a Schmidt number 6. Fine nib. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's a ton more feedback. There definitely is still that sort of dropping the ink at the bottom of those figures there, but I think this one writes maybe just a little bit glassier. They're both, I mean, this is still very smooth, but there is a bit of feedback. Okay, so then this one is the Jowo number 6 Elastic Fine nib. Yeah, so It feels glassier and more bouncy and less feedbacky, and it also looks like it might be a little broader. Again, this it depends on the ink that you're using too and the flow, but I do think that the Elastic Fine puts down a little bit of a thicker line, and it feels just a little bit, I don't want to say smoother, but it definitely has a little less feedback, I would say, because they both write wonderfully. But yeah, so that is the comparison between the two nibs, the Schmidt Fine and the Jowo Elastic Fine, just in case you wanted to see that. And I am really happy with this choice of ink. I think on camera it is looking a little more brown. In real life it is quite pink, quite sort of strawberry milkshake color in the lighter parts, so in the shading where it's where there's less ink put down. But I think it's looking a little bit more brown on camera, but in person it's really beautiful. And I just wanted to thank Manda for sending me this little sample. I've had it for quite a while actually, and I've swatched it a couple of times, but I haven't actually put it in a pen, so I was super excited. I thought it was actually a little bit lighter, but this nib is perfect for this ink. It really shows up, it's very legible, so I think that's really cool. So thanks, Manda. And again, thanks to BENU for sending me out this pen to have a play with. I really appreciate getting to try this out. It's absolutely stunning, and I look forward to more beautiful creations in the future. Okay guys, thanks for joining me for this little exploration, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!